If you can't tell by looking at me, I have 3 cats that are on Prozac. I forgot about the rapture. That's crazy, right? Like, this was the first rapture that I was like, right, because I've lived through several. Okay, that's true. There was one in 2012. Some of them were scary. This one I was kind of like, I'm ready. This is it. But maybe we all just got left behind. I don't know. They're saying now online that it's been rescheduled for October 6th. God just like got the date wrong, or there's something with the calendar. I don't understand. It's fine. I was raised Catholic, not Christian, so maybe that's the disconnect. Catholicism is interesting because they believe in a lot of antiquated things like buildings and books and ideas. And you have to suspend your disbelief with Catholicism because they believe in something called transubstantiation. And this is when the bread and the wine that they bring out during the Mass actually becomes the body and blood of Jesus Christ. Like, becomes it. Not like symbolically. So they don't believe in gay marriage, but they believe in cannibalizing Jesus. Oh, okay. Okay. I took one of those Ancestry.com tests recently, and it came back that I am half Sicilian and half redneck, which they refer to as a genetic clusterfuck, I believe, technically. And I should have known, just like the low hum of insanity that kind of ran through my childhood. I'm pretty sure that God got out the DSM-5 and was like, give them one of each! Yeah, it was kind of like a carnival where all of the rides are being held together by duct tape and everyone's on bath salts. It's like a regular carnival, probably, right? I grew up mostly here. This is where my Sicilian family is. My redneck family is down in Tennessee. And we only went to see them on special occasions for like Uncle Bubba Joe's parole. And my most prominent memory of going down there, and I really wish this story was not true, was being 11 and in a stranger's double wide trailer and being handed a wine cooler by a pregnant woman who was also drinking a wine cooler. And I say woman, she could have been 16, I was 11. But I'm pretty sure that baby's on reality TV now, so everything's fine. She's doing better than we are. I'm from the 1970s. I'm not a time traveler, I'm just old. For me, Mark Wahlberg will always be a rapper. Not an actor or a car dealership mogul, I guess, is what we have here. I live in Avon, so I drive by this thing every single day. But all of our stuff that was supposed to be fun in childhood was terrifying. Like the toys, okay? We had the glowworm, right? Does anyone remember the glowworm? Probably not. This is a pretty young audience, some of you guys. So glowworm was like a nightlight you could keep with you. But if you saw it in your toy box in the middle of the night lighting up by itself, you knew it was opening the portal to hell. And then there was Teddy Ruxpin, who ran on a cassette tape, which degraded, inevitably, and was eaten by the mechanism. So he's over there like, I love you, Satan. And then Furby would jump in. Furby's was my sister's, but he just like came over and like kicked Teddy Ruxpin into the pit and then chanted in Latin. It's like, ha ha. The movies were awful too. These are movies that I would not watch as an adult, right? The Secret of NIMH was one of them. Yeah, yes, Secret of NIMH. So NIMH stands for National Institute of Mental Health. And the plotline of this movie is, the secret is that they take the rats and they make them super smart and give them long lives, and then they release them back into the wild, and then they're like, good luck. And spoiler alert, it doesn't end well. And then fast forward to adulthood, when you have an infestation of rats in your attic and they have to be eradicated, you're like, but what about Mrs. Brisby and Timmy and Nicodemus? What are they gonna do? And your husband commits you to a mental institution. It's fine. The Dark Crystal was another one. Like, our parents saw that and they were like, it's puppets. It's okay, it's puppets. And the scene that I remember from that was the birds, the Skeksis, maybe, propping the little guy's eyes open with this metal thing and sucking the life force out of him so that they could live longer. Like, you didn't tell me it was going to be looking into my future, sitting in front of the computer, in my career. And then there's everyone's favorite, The Never-Ending Story. Yes. The crowd always, yes, because The Never-Ending Story scarred everyone in a way that can't fully be expressed through words. As we were watching it, we didn't realize that the villain was apathy. Yeah? And then you get to watch a horse commit suicide in goo. And they wonder why Gen X is apathetic. Like, I'm not saying that my mental illness maybe was caused by these movies, but it didn't help. And the books on, okay, mine were on records, which they were probably on tapes for a lot of you, but the one where it said, turn the page when you hear the chimes. Ring. Yeah? So you could get these, like, you could get Little Red Riding Hood, and you could get Cinderella, and you could get Sleeping Beauty, and my parents thought that their 4-year-old child would like Gremlins. So every time I hear that sound, I go into like a fugue state for about an hour. I am getting older. My relationship with my doctor is changing. I had blood work recently, and it was like a little off, and I called her. I was like, hey, are we gonna do something? And she's like, it's like pretty much like last year's, so I think it's fine. And I was like, I'm not a scientist, but are we gonna grade this on a curve? She diagnosed me with GERD, not like, my GERD. But the thing that makes it like you can't eat or drink anything fun anymore. It's great. They ask me every time I go in if I've fallen in the last year. I'm like, I don't know. I did leave the gas running on the stove last week and the fire department had to come. I think that's dementia, maybe. And it's like, no matter what you do, you eat well and you exercise and you do all the needles and the lasers and everything, but then you throw your back out when you're sleeping and your body reminds you that it's decaying from the inside. You guys didn't like that. You're like, don't remind us. The time is passing. There was a serial killer. I promise this is relevant. I promise it is. I think it was the 18th century in Hungary. There was a countess named Elizabeth Bathory. And this isn't confirmed, but they say that she may have been the most prolific serial killer of all time. They think that she killed 650 young women to bathe in their blood to keep her young. And to be honest with you, I'm starting to get it. I went to my mom's house recently. By the way, all those toys I mentioned earlier, they still work. You know why? Demons. But my mom is 73, and I had to explain OnlyFans to her because I accidentally mentioned OnlyFans. And I was like, it's kind of like a DIY site. She was like, oh, you know what? I need to redo the cabinet, so maybe I'll look on there instead of Pinterest. I was like, no. Not exactly that kind of DIY. I don't have any kids. Like I said, I am half Sicilian and half redneck, and my husband is half Irish and half Scottish, and so those would just be some like angry, sweaty little children. But my sister is a breeder, and I have 3 nephews. two of whom are 7-year-old twins. And I went over the other day, and they said, "TT, Amy, can you do a cartwheel?" And I said, "No." But I'm 46, and I hold down a job. So how hard can this be? So I do the cartwheel, and you know those videos that you see where like things are re-entering the atmosphere from space and all of the parts are flying off of them? I think that happened to me, just like my limbs just flew into separate parts of the yard and I landed on my back and I laid there for about an hour. And then my sister called me the next week and she's like, "What'd you do to my kids? They're broken." I was like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "They're laying on the lawn," and when I asked them what they were doing, they said cartwheels. Those kids are a trip, man. Like, okay, so the one twin is so sweet and gentle and loving, and the other one is different. He is either going to solve global warming or become a serial killer, and I'm not really sure which direction we're headed in. Like, he started calling my mother by her first name. The gentle one comes into the house and he's like, "Nana, our friends would like to come in and play." And the other one comes in and he's like, "Denise! The visitors want to see the house." I was like, "The visitors? Is this Lost? What is it?" My husband is aging along with me, and he has a dream that we're gonna retire and drive an RV across the country. And I told him that I think that sounds like an amazing idea for him and his next wife. Our products are marketed differently, okay? Like, my vitamins are called New Chapter. Glide into menopause. So they have heroin. And his are called Mega Men. Yeah, they're a Marvel product. I'm like, are you gonna shoot fireballs out of your hands, or are you just gonna have an overabundance of B12, maybe? We're coming to the end of the summer season. We're winding down, even though it's hot outside. And my family would call this the end of water park season, because we're classy. And I was reminiscing about this water park from my childhood. Does anyone remember Wildwood Water Park? Yeah? All right, we got a couple. For those who don't know what this is, you know Cedar Point, you know how they have the tallest, fastest, make you throw up and lose your hearing and die? Wildwood was the opposite. First of all, it was a water park in the middle of a forest. So, jumping off, great start. It looked like it was made of spare parts from a construction site, perhaps. And it was staffed by what I can only imagine were drifters or hitchhikers. And the rides were amazing. There was the barrel, which was, you know those big like things that flatten asphalt? So they submerged that in a black lake. And then they were like, well, it's kind of dangerous, so they wrapped it in a yoga mat. It's fine. So the goal as an 8-year-old was to leap from the deck and run on this thing and not break all your teeth and drown. Which none of us succeeded at, really, I don't think. And then there was the 100-foot slide, which was always closed because somebody had just died the week before. And then there was the tube ride, you know, the inner tube. I think it was called Chlamydia Canyon. It's kind of like a lazy river without any chlorine, I think. And I recently found a Facebook group that is dedicated to like memories of this place. And one of the ex-lifeguards posted on there, she was like, "Man, you remember after the park closed down and we used to go bare-assing on all the rides?" I was like, I didn't know "assin" was a verb. and she's like in her 60s now. That is someone's new mom. You guys, thank you so much. I've just been